If I showed you a list of all the data compiled on you by big companies and the government, would you still use the internet? Your data is collected in massive amounts, and this is something that a lot of people don't really know about. I think this is very important because within the last few years, I've seen a resurgence of society really caring about civil rights for everyone, no matter what race or gender you are, and no matter who you are or what you do. If you use the internet, then your information is being spied on, and that affects all of us. I think one of the big reasons that many people don't hear about this is because when someone tries to do the right thing and speak up, they often get blacklisted or slandered. Take Edward Snowden, for example. He tried to expose the NSA for illegal spying, and in turn he was labeled as a traitor, and this label caused lots of people to ignore what he had to say and to not listen to him. Now, through a variety of means, the government and big tech companies can easily access your information on the internet. And first up, we're going to address the biggest culprit, the government. The government spies on its citizens through backdoor and nefarious means. According to an article written in 2020 by the Electronic Freedom Foundation, the Patriot Act is used by the NSA in order to record foreigners calling into the U.S. without probable cause. And this is a huge problem because even cops, no matter how big the crime is, they need a probable cause warrant in order just to enter a home or a vehicle. And we have an instance of one of the most powerful entities on the planet, the government, not even using one on their own citizens. In an article written by ExpressVPN in 2020, the PRISM Act is used by the NSA to force companies to hand over personal data. Now, these companies were phone companies, and they were forced through court cases to hand over very private information like your phone records, your phone logs, and your private text messages. In the same article, it was also revealed that the NSA intercepts shipments of electronics and installs backdoors. You might be asking, what are backdoors? Well, backdoors are holes in the coding of software in, say, a phone or a laptop that allows a third party to have unlimited access to the device. The backdoor is there because it's normally used for administrative purposes in order to repair a device by just being able to enter into the coding. But it also means that whether you're an administrator or you're a third party, you don't have to go through any security measures in order to gain the access to the information on the device. According to journalist Dylan Curran, in an article he wrote in 2018, the NSA used a program called Optic Nerves to capture pictures of Yahoo users. These were pictures of their personal messages and through Yahoo's version of FaceTime. And a lot of these pictures included nude photos of users, and that's just something that should never be collected by any company. Now, up next, big tech companies. Big tech companies harvest a lot of personal data and way more than you could ever imagine. App permissions are a big thing that companies use in order to gain your information. For example, if you download TikTok and you want to make a new TikTok, as soon as you start recording, the app is going to ask for permission to your camera roll, your camera, and your microphone. If you give the app this access, it can record from your microphone or camera anytime it wants. It can access those anytime it wants, and it can listen or look through either of those anytime it wants. And this is something a lot of people don't know about because in the user agreements, they're so long, people don't take the time to read them. And even if they did, if they want to use an app like Google or Facebook, just in order to use the app, they have to accept that, they have to grant that permission. So it's either they use the app and they risk their data or they don't, and then they don't have access to a search engine or something like that. So it's a very tight situation to navigate because people have to really balance what they want to do, if they even know that's what happens when you give permissions to these types of apps. Now, Facebook also collects insane amounts of data. It uses programs to track what websites you go on even after you've left the Facebook app. It can also tell anything it wants about you based off of your Facebook profile and these other websites that you visit. Now, to recap, the government and big tech harvest lots of personal data on you through secret and awful means that most people don't even know about, and I think it's something that more people need to be made aware about.